Hello. I know it's been a little bit over a month, but hopefully this should be one of the last two episodes. So, there you go. Let's get started. Chapter 19. The Key to Perihelion. Derek huddled in pitch blackness in the corner of the room and waited. He could not say how long he had been alone there, except that it seemed an eternity. He held the artifact tightly in both hands and sat, rigid and silent. Then, without warning, he was not alone. Since the corridor outside was as dark as the room inside, Derek could not see when the door opened, but he heard it slide back and rustling steps as someone entered. His heart began to beat faster and his nerves jangled. "Derek?" He sighed, and the tension flowed out of him. It was Catherine's voice. "Here," he said, "in the corner." She thumbed her torch on and swung it in his direction, and the polished surface of the object he held in his hands sent an answering beam of light back at her and Woolruff. "You did it!" she exulted. "Let me see." Derek crossed his arm protectively over the artifact. "No, don't come near me." "What's going on? What happened to you?" Catherine demanded. "We did it. We got it." "So we do. It's confessions time, that's all," Derek said, sliding up the wall to a standing position. "I've had some time to sit here and think about things. It's amazing how being scared will focus your thoughts." "What are you talking about?" Catherine demanded. He waggled the key above his head. "It's real simple. Which one of you is going to stop playing dumb and tell me just what it is we've got?" Catherine stared at him. "If you're trying to say that I've been holding out on you—" "Haven't you been?" Derek interrupted. "You and Woolruff both. I'm tired of being the one in the dark, the one who's always one step behind. I want to know everything you know. I'd rather give it back to the robots than have it, and not know what it is." "Derek, I don't know anything more than I already told you," Catherine said pleadingly, taking a step forward. Derek stiffened and gripped the artifact even more tightly. "Don't try it. Talk to me." Catherine retreated a step. "Derek, I don't want to fight you, but this is crazy. We're all part of a team. I'm not keeping any secrets from you. I never saw or heard of that thing before Randomus asked me about it. I couldn't tell him anything, and he didn't tell me anything." He turned and looked into the half-shadow where Woolruff stood. But Woolruff was Randomus's top aide, and when the robots took the key from the spacecraft, she thought it was worth the risk to follow and find out where it was taken. How about it, Woolruff?" "I was hungry. I thought there would be food." "Really? How hungry?" "Not 6 weeks' worth. 3 days, that's all." "Is that hungry enough to send you out where the robots were and take the chance of being caught by them? Especially considering how you feel about robots." "If anyone's keeping secrets, perhaps is you, Derek," Woolruff said challengingly. "The key was found on the asteroid you claim you were shipwrecked on. But why did you go to that spot when you were escaping? Because you know that it was there? Maybe because you put it there and wanted it back?" Without warning, the lights in the room suddenly flared to life. The only one who did not jump was Derek. He had been expecting it. "The robots are looking for us," he said. "They've reactivated this section, maybe the whole station. They can use the environmental systems to find out where lights are being used, where the oxygen demand is up." "We can't stay here," Catherine said simply. "We've got to move. We've got to get the key hidden again before they find us." Derek shook his head. "Wrong. Unless one of you starts talking, I'm going to wait right here until the robots show up, and then hand it to them," he said with quiet calm. "It's up to you." "If you let them have it back, we'll never be able to get it again," Catherine said angrily. "I think you can count on that," Derek said undisturbed. She turned on Woolruff. "If you do know something, you'd better tell him straight and tell him fast. The key's lost," she ordered. "If we wait any longer, we'll never get it away." A wild look in her eyes, Woolruff backed away a step. "You'll take it and leave me, and I'll never get 'ome," she said desperately. "That won't happen," Catherine said. "We won't abandon you." "I already promised you that," Derek said. "I meant it." "Tell him," Catherine prodded. "Tell us." Woolruff's starting eyes fixed first on Catherine's face, then on Derek's. "Is one of the keys to perihelion," she said finally. "Perihelion? What's that?" Catherine said. "It's said to be the place nearest to every other place in the universe," Woolruff said. "You hold the key to the room which is the center of all. With the key, through perihelion, you should be able to travel anywhere." Derek shook his head in disbelief. "Some kind of matter transport?" "No," Woolruff said. "It is the key that opens the door to perihelion." Her anger forgotten for the moment, Catherine looked at Derek. Could it be something that uses the same principle as the jump? "In a package of this size?" he said skeptically. To Woolruff he added, "You said one of the keys. How many are there?" "By the stories the randomists heard, 7. "What stories? Where did he hear them?" "There were 3 ships before this one came aboard," Woolruff said, gesturing toward Catherine. "Our enemies learned much from the humans aboard before he hurt them so much they died. Learn our language, hear many stories." Catherine looked at Derek. "I've never heard any stories about a key to perihelion. They must have been settler ships." "That fits. Otherwise Aranimus would have run into robots sooner." Derek turned toward Woolruff. "Where did the keys come from?" Woolruff twitched her cheeks, a gesture equivalent to a shrug. "Aranimus could not even learn where the tales came from." Derek looked back to the key and turned it over in his hands. "How does it work? Where are the controls?" "There is only one control that Aranimus could find," Woolruff said. "Push each corner in turn. A button will appear." "Press the corners clockwise or counterclockwise, starting where and which side?" "It does not matter," Woolruff said. "Turn it any way you choose. The button always appears in the last corner you touch, and always on the side facing you. If you do nothing, the button disappears again." "And if you push the button, you go to perihelion?" asked Catherine. "No," Woolruff said sadly. "That is what should happen, I think, but it does not. The key does not function." "You tried it for Animus?" "Many times." Derek looked at the glittering metal bar resting in his hands. Its finish was mirror smooth and seamless. There was no corner between thumb and forefinger. There was no give, no sign he'd done anything at all. But when Derek pressed the fourth corner, it pressed back against his thumb. A 3 centimeter square section on the corner sprang smoothly upward, looking just like a button waiting to be pushed. At the same time, it seemed to be an immovable part of the rest of the artifact, as though the silver covering was some sort of metallic membrane. Catherine looked back to Woolruff. "If it doesn't work, why were you so eager to get it back?" "Maybe Woolruff can fix," was her forlorn reply. "Only way to go home now." Just then they heard a voice calling them from the corridor outside. "Derek! Catherine! Come out!" it said. "Derek! Catherine! You do not have to hide." Woolruff dropped to her couch and loosed a barrage of guttural moaning sounds. "Shut up!" Catherine hissed at the alien, then turned to Derek. "Do something!" she urged. "What?" Derek snapped back. "This room has only one exit." At the moment the door slid open, drawing Derek's attention away from Catherine. He glimpsed the golden robot filling the doorway and advancing across the threshold. Then suddenly Catherine was blocking his view. She had moved closer and was reaching for the key, a determined expression on her face. Derek's immediate thought was that she was going to try to grab the key and try to run. He did not have enough time to snatch the gleaming artifact out of her reach. There was only time to tighten his grip. Too late, he realized Catherine had never meant to take the key. Her hands closed firmly over his, locking them in place. Her thumb drove the small square button back down into the body of the key. "No!" cried Woolruff. "Wait!" Derek started to say, but there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. Not Derek, not the robot, not even Catherine. There was a soundless burst of color that stabbed deep into Derek's eyes, driving out the sight of all else, and when the light faded to gray and his sight was restored, Woolruff, the robot, and the room had all vanished. They found themselves standing as they had been standing, both gripping the key at the center of a tiny place with a great space. There was nothing to prevent them from seeing vast distances, except there was nothing to see. All around them was a soft gray light that was the prey. Thus to the eye what a hum is to the ear. The air had the foggy, dusty odor of a house that had been closed up for the summer. There was no sound except their own tight, frightened breathing. They clung to each other and to the key and tried to understand and accept their sudden displacement to this unreal reality. It was a place which could be nowhere in space. They were somewhere outside, thrown there by the staggering power of the little silver bar. It was a place without time, without life. Perihelion, Catherine whispered. Woolruff said that it was the nearest place to everywhere, Derek said. It feels more like the farthest place from anywhere. Catherine twisted her head around, looking. Where is she? Back on Rockcliffe Station, I guess. Left behind. Why didn't the key bring her with us? Maybe for the same reason it wouldn't work for her, Derek said. Maybe because she was too far away from us. Maybe you have to be touching it, or touching someone who's touching it. I don't know. But we have to go back and get her. But the robots. Derek shook his head. It was Alpha. He didn't even look. It was Alpha. I didn't know, Catherine whispered. Press it again. Let's go back. How do we know we will? I was thinking about escape when I pushed it. Think about going back. Wordlessly, Derek complied. The button appeared as before. There was a flash, another flash of color, and for another few seconds of adjustment. Then the returning vision told them something should not be, could not be. They were not at perihelion, but neither were they back in Rockcliffe Station. They were standing in open sunlight atop a great pyramidal tower, looking down at a still greater city spread out before them. The tower they were on was taller by half than any other building in sight. It was like standing on top of the world, like looking down from an eagle, eerie. What's this? Catherine hissed. Where did you send us? Derek looked unbelievingly at the towers, cubes and spires stretching from the base of the pyramid to the horizon. I don't know, he said hoarsely. I had Rockcliffe Station in my mind. She released her grip on the key and grabbed tight to his arm. Are we on Earth? She asked it as the prospect frightened her. Derek looked west at the low-hanging disk of the sun. No, he said. The star is too white and too small. But he knew why she had asked. No space world had a city this vast. Only on Earth had city buildings ever been practiced on this scale, and they were not cities, but cities, enclosed and larger than underground. You don't recognize it? Never seen such a thing before, she whispered. Is it Wilraf's home world, or Animus? I don't know, Derek said. We can find the answer easily enough, though. How? By going down there. He gestured toward the city spread out below them. No, she said with a shudder. Send us back. Derek realized he was still gripping the key in his unfeeling hands. I don't know if I can, he said. Try, she urged, or let me try. We'll try, he agreed. Holding an image of the empty grayness of perihelion in his mind, Derek called up the control button and pressed it. This time nothing happened. What if it has to take a lot of power? Maybe it has to recharge, or be recharged, he said. Either way, looks like we're here for a while at least. I don't want to go down there, Catherine said. It'll be night soon. Let's stay here until morning and then try the key again. The sun had indeed slipped a fraction of a degree toward the horizon, lengthening the already long shadow of the tower and the city below. Aren't you afraid of going over the side in your sleep? He asked. There's no railing or footwall enclosing the table, flat top of the pyramid. I don't expect to be able to sleep, she said soberly. As the sun descended toward the horizon, a breeze kicked up, teasing at their hair and clothing. It carried with it no scent, Derek knew. In fact, for a world so obviously teeming with life, it carried remarkably little scent at all. Below them, the city was becoming alive with light, light cascading down the sides of buildings, light puddling in the streets. In those streets, hundreds of other lights were restless in motion, reminding Derek of the bustle within a colony of bees or ants. Too emotionally numb to be even afraid, they avoided talk. Catherine withdrew into herself, sitting in the lotus position near the center of the tile-covered plaza. Derek wandered near the edges, looking out and trying to abstract the pattern in which the city had been built. When the stars came out, he studied them, hoping against hope to recognize their patterns. Then there was a red star as bright as a planet that might have been Betelgeuse, and a fierce white one that might have been Sirius, but each could just as easily be any of 1,000 other stars named or merely numbered. There's no way to tell if I had a spectrometer to take the optical fingerprint of each subject and a general astrological catalogue in which to search for matches. Do you remember what stars looked like from Aurora? He called across Catherine, then sitting huddled against her on the other side of the plaza. I never knew, she admitted. I wasn't interested. Giving up, he went and sat facing her. She was idly rubbing her right bicep through the sleeve of her Lindbergh blouse. Having trouble with the pump? It's not what hurts, she said, tugging the sleeve up and showing him a purple crescent bruise. Nice. My most convincing scream, she said with a rueful smile. Well, Ruff, she got carried away and bit me. She's not as harmless as she wants us to think. Anything living knows how to defend itself, he said, then added wistfully. I wonder what's happened to her. I don't understand why you liked her. She's a victim, a prisoner, just like us. I have trouble thinking of her that way. Derek sighed. Doesn't matter now, I guess. I've abandoned her again. Conversation lapsed after that. I don't understand why it was Alpha that came after us, Catherine said finally. It can't have been roaming free like Woolruff since we came to the station, can it? Looking for us? Just another one of Jacobson's tricks, Derek said. He knew we wanted the robot back. What better bait to draw us out? They were silent together for a while, sitting close, but not touching. Your first name is David, she said unexpectedly. Hearing the name brought no sudden revelations, and caution born out of experience kept him from feeling any gratitude. Why tell me now? So I can stop the mental gymnastics every time I start to talk to you, because I thought you'd want to know. And because we don't know what's going to happen to us? Ah, I won't think like that, she said. I don't believe in it. I should have known better, Derek said with a faint smile. Are you going to drop more than one crumb? How was to know me? Where did we meet? She turned her head to look at him. You were the engineer's mate on a settler merchantman, the David O'Neill. Daniel O'Neill, I think it was called, she said. Does it sound familiar? No, he said unhappily. What else can you tell me? She hesitated. I'm afraid I don't know you as well as I let you think. We crossed paths in the spaceport. If I'm a settler drudge and you're a spacer top crust, your captain was having trouble with customs coming in, and we were delayed going out by mechanical problems. We ended up in the same waiting area. We talked for a while. She hesitated, then added, You were funny. You made me laugh. Did I talk about my family, my home? You don't remember any of it, do you? Meeting me, the O'Neill? No. I'm sorry. She hesitated. Even so, I thought you'd be happier knowing. I'd be happier remembering, he said, and was silent for a moment. Anyway, it doesn't seem to matter as much at the moment. I don't know a thing about this David. At least I know a little bit about Derek. I think I'll stay Derek for the time being. I didn't tell you everything, she said. I didn't tell you about... Don't, he said. If my name didn't bring it back, nothing will. Save the rest. You'll be able to tell me whether I'm remembering or inventing. I know your memory will come back. It has to. He nodded absently, acknowledging her words without accepting them. If you want to try to sleep, I'll try to watch to make sure you don't get restless and try to airwalk. Shaking her head, she said, I can't sleep without a pillow. Derek stretched out his back and tapped his left shoulder with his right hand. I have an unoccupied pillow available, no charge. He expected her to refuse the offer, but she crawled wordlessly to where he lay and snuggled against his left side. Her head rested on his arm. Closing her eyes, she seemed to fall asleep almost at once. They fit together easily, and, innocent though the embrace was, there is something pleasing about her closeness. Probably it's just that she's not talking, Derek told himself. He lay there looking up at the stars and listening to her slow, peaceful breathing until his own eyelids were too heavy to keep open. David Derrick, he thought, just before sleep took him. It would be nice to have two names again. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll probably do the last two chapters in an episode together, or I might do them separately. Uh, we'll see how tired my voice is after that, and thanks for listening. Listening. Um, thanks. Bye.